you live in Arkansas, stop scrolling. I'm talking to you. We live in such a gorgeous state that has such an ugly criminal justice system, and that is never going to change unless we start paying attention to it. So the backstory on this video. Y'all know that I've been covering the double homicide that occurred at Devil's Den State Park. And I went to Fayetteville to go to Andrew McGann, the man accused of the double homicide at Devil's Den State Park, to go to his arraignment. And I met my friend Joelle there, and she is a wonderful, wonderful artist. She's an incredible courtroom sketch artist, and I collect her work. She's incredible. Make sure to follow her. She's agreed to illustrate the entirety of the Devil's Den courtroom coverage for my coverage of that case, which I am so blessed to have her agree to do that. And a couple weeks ago, one of the local news stations stole her work that she did for me and used it without consent, which is super fucked up, by the way. So I ended up messaging this local news station about the fact that they stole that work that did not belong to them and used it without permission. Message back, sorry we stole your stuff, we'll fix it, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the email it says, I would like to offer this up. It was brought to my attention that no one was allowed in the courtroom for this hearing. Side note, no one was allowed into Andrew McGann's arraignment, and they didn't stream it out to the public and the media in the waiting room like they normally do. For context to this, it was brought to my attention that no one was allowed in the courtroom for this hearing, and that's considered highly unusual. I'd like to know if that decision by the court is something you or your artist has encountered, and if possible, do an interview with our team about this. Don't even get me started on that. And all the local news stations have been going crazy about the fact that people weren't allowed into Andrew McGann's arraignment, and they didn't broadcast it out on the TV into the waiting room for the public and media that were at his court proceeding to hear it, which, as y'all know, it's a constitutional right to have a public and open trial and all that jazz. And I don't agree with what was done. But that email made me realize how little even local news pays attention to what is going on in Arkansas that is worthy of news coverage, and certainly not getting it. So do I know of another case that I've covered where the public was denied access to a court proceeding? Yes, absolutely. Pay attention. The Aaron Spencer case, the exact same thing happened in the Aaron Spencer case that happened in the Devil's Den case. And for those of you that don't know about the Aaron Spencer case, to make a super long story super duper short, ex-cop turned edophile essays a minor child, kidnaps said minor child. Dad rescues kidnapped daughter from the edophile. Dad ends up pew-pewing the edophile in self-defense, and Arkansas charges him with murder and frames him for a drug offense, allegedly, supposedly for legal purposes. In Aaron Spencer's case, just like in Andrew McGann's case, the Devil's Den case, the arraignment was closed to the public, which should not be happening, but it happened in two of the biggest cases occurring in 2025 in Arkansas. So Arkansas, we have got to do better. We have got to do better, because it is not okay for us to accept less, which is what we are doing right now by not paying attention to what is going on around us. And I know that a lot of people think that I'm not a criminal, so it doesn't apply to me, but that is not the case. A corrupt system affects everyone, and we have got to be paying attention to it. If you have any questions about the Aaron Spencer case, drop it in my comments. I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions about that case for you all, as well as the Devil's Den case. Make sure to like and follow, tag your friends, repost this to get the word out to Arkansas so that we can help educate our fellow Arkansans on what's really going on around here. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.